Today for Devotions with Daniella, we are reading from the first book of Daniella, Uncultured. This is a chapter called Camp Followers, and I have just gotten deployed to Afghanistan as a young second lieutenant. Hey LT, you know how you're always blabbing all that girl power shit? Sergeant First Class Krasinski, who we only called Sergeant K, strolled into our intelligence office in Kandahar, Afghanistan, waving his four-fingered hand in the air in my general direction, as if there was any question to whom he spoke. Sergeant K, I quipped, are you still pissed that nobody has been able to prove to me that they can do a push-up with their penis, and therefore have fundamentally failed to defend any reason there should be a combat ban against women according to the Army's own physical standards? Is that my favorite line in the book? Yes. Now don't get your panties in a bunch, ma'am. He raised his fingers in the air, pantomiming surrender. I just came over from Task Force Pale Horse, where they're putting together some kind of girly, tough, experimental combat team, and I thought you'd be chomping at the bit to go show off all your frickin' hooah. I told him you're the baddest bitch we got probably in the whole unit. I understand that in light of recent news, that's probably a little bit of a racist microaggression. However, there's a lot of African-American language and terminology that gets mixed into military culture. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. He took a breath, smirking. I tried to hide the giant grin spreading across my face at his compliment. Technically, I outranked him. But like any good second lieutenant, I knew I wasn't actually in charge, ever. It was an honor to have a sergeant first class say anything positive to me. I guessed my hard work was paying off. Anyways, that's my old unit, he said. They're good guys, the pathfinders, for the fucking infantry. Ask Captain Madison for permission, though, because Captain Rodriguez will be pissed. All right, Sergeant, I said, still trying to control my excitement. I'll check it out. And yeah, I think you're right about her. I knew that Captain Jillian Rodriguez, the only other woman on our intelligence team, would be far more jealous than supportive of a woman for standing out in anything. I've always thought that it's important for intelligence professionals to know the situation on the ground they're supposed to be the experts on, Captain Mike Madison said to our boss, Captain Dixon, recommending they release me from some intelligence duties to participate in the patrols. Plus, you know she's never going to shut up about equality and running fast and all the shit she thinks girls can do. Best we let her do it. She'll figure out pretty quickly that there's nothing cool about being allowed to go on deliberate combat operations. What about the others? Captain Dixon asked, as if I wasn't in the room. Don't you think our two male lieutenants will be pissed that she gets days off to go play soldier in the sand while they're stuck here manning their desks 12 hours a day? I don't think I care much about their belly aching, Captain Madison said. They had every opportunity to be infantrymen if that's what they wanted, whereas fucking Daniella, arguably as fast and strong as any of them, didn't have that choice. Now they need women, so she gets a shot. If it were me, I'd tell them to stop whining and go be in the infantry when we get home, if that's how they feel. It was settled. Captain Dixon understood the need for women in combat, especially in that war. And in intelligence, we understood counterinsurgency fights need the trust of the people. When we busted down the doors of conservative Muslim Afghan homes, we needed women to cordon and search families who didn't allow men to even look at their women. Captain Madison was a good partner to Captain Dixon. He focused on training his lieutenants to value what different perspectives and viewpoints could bring to our business of predicting where things would blow up and where bad guys were most likely to hide to shoot at our helicopters. He'd wave his hand in large gestures learned from a long line of Italian ancestry, saying, men and women together make the best intel teams because we see different shit. Alone on the 4-mile hike over to the Pale Horse's Tactical Operations Center, the knot in my stomach grew larger as I approached the Pathfinders, the infantry attachment that works with a combat aviation brigade. Would these guys be married to the idea of their own superiority too? Were they like the vet bros online? Or would they be like the captains in my office who at least understood the need for us women to be there, all while doing our best not to bleed to death? Wounded by the shards of the glass ceiling we were trying to shatter. Walking up to the Tactical Operations Center, I saw men lounging on a step outside, cigarettes hanging from their lips, sleeves unbuttoned and flapping loosely about their wrists. No mistaking these guys for anything but the Pathfinders, with their cool confidence and ranger tabs glinting off every left shoulder. Oh, here's the little tab they got me. Should be on that shoulder, though. That's a ranger-shaped tab that they put spy on because I was the intelligence. Their badass reputation was earned. They lived in 24/7 readiness to deploy a team within 10 minutes or less to the site of any downed aircraft in the southern part of Afghanistan. They'd work giant equipment to cut open the belly of an army bird, rescue or recover souls and sensitive equipment on board, and destroy what could not be saved. Teams that were not on standby for this mission would do other infantry operations as required, and those deliberate combat missions were where the women would come into play. Swallowing hard, I placed my hand on the door of the Tactical Operations Center, ready to introduce myself. Hey, LT. I turned around slowly. If I could discern who was addressing me, I'd know how to respond. If it were a low-ranking private or specialist, I could be outraged by the tone and speak up, make them address me with a bit more formality. But anyone higher on the officer chain, and I'd have to muster up the respect and deference. Just my luck. He was wearing rockers. The bars added to rank someone as a staff sergeant and the levels above. It was impossible for a lieutenant to know how to respond to a sergeant, especially a staff sergeant, without knowing more about the power dynamics of the group. The staff sergeant, a guy with blonde hair cropped close enough to look nearly bald, sauntered over in my direction. I walked toward him, hoping I was successfully feigning an equal amount of disinterested confidence. Well, you're a pretty young thing, he said. You're here to be in the infantry, I'd guess? He cocked an eyebrow like he was daring me to run away with my tail between my legs. My heart dropped. I plastered on a giant smile and steadied myself for what I feared was going to be just the beginning of the hazing. I sure am, Sergeant Mills, I said, glancing at the name on his uniform. Are you going to be the one to teach me? I hated how girly and young my voice sounded. Well, I'm going to try, he said, replacing the cigarette between his lips. He might be the guy who would train me, but I still needed to report for duty. I turned back to the door. Hey, LT. Yes, Sergeant, I said, pivoting back to face him. It's about goddamn time. He smiled before casually turning his back on an officer and walking away. You can get signed copies of Uncultured attached here or listen to me read it to you on Spotify Premium or anywhere else you get your audiobooks.